Hey everyone, it's OSK, and I have a very exciting announcement for you today for the new Spellbreak Chapter 2 Dominion mode. For those of you out of the loop, the competitive Spellbreak organization Element will be hosting an early access Dominion draft pick tournament with the assistance of Proletariat. This is unprecedented for Element as a competitive org, and it will provide prospective players with the first look of Dominion play in a tournament format for Spellbreak Chapter 2 a day before its official release on Wednesday, April 7th at 1 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. Once I'm done with explaining the rules and how to sign up, I'll be covering some potential meta strategies we might see in this tournament and in the game at large. But now before we get started, if you like these sorts of competitive Spellbreak videos, please be sure to leave a like when we're done and subscribe if you'd like to see more content from me. But now that that's out of the way, let's get into this. First things first, let's get into the tournament details. In case you haven't heard yet, Dominion is a brand new game mode coming to Spellbreak in Chapter 2. It's a 3-point capture mode with PvE elements and a heavy weight on exiles and a shop system. The goal is to reach the target amount of points before your opponent or have the highest score before the 15-minute timer runs out. The new Dominion game mode releases alongside the rest of Chapter 2 on Thursday, April 8th. It is this new game mode that will be showcased with the new tournament. Hosted by Element, the Early Access Dominion Draft Tournament will allow 8 selective teams to duke it out in the new game mode on Wednesday, April 7th for the glory of sweet victory. You may notice that this is one day before the release date and is the result of an unprecedented special collaboration with Proletariat themselves, potentially paving the way for more in future events. Teams will be comprised of 16 streamers and 24 players. The 16 streamers will be divided up into 2 streamers per team and will provide the point of view for each team. The other 24 players will be drafted by the 2 streamers on each team in a snake draft format, meaning that the order of drafting in the first round will be reversed in the second round, so the team with first pick in round 1 will have last pick in round 2, and so on. This will continue until each team has 5 total members and our 40 participants are set to compete. The tournament format is single elimination, meaning that once your team loses, you are out of the tournament for good, so stakes are high for each match. In addition to this, each team before each match will be subject to a modified class lock rule. The rule is as follows: no team may lock in more than 1 duplicate class before a match begins. This means that every class selection is capped at 2. You can run something like a 2-2-1 setup with 2 Stone Shapers, 2 Conduits, and 1 Pyromancer, for example, but you couldn't run something like 3 Stone Shapers. This will make for a 7-match event of high-octane competitive action, so be sure to tune in on April 7th. Did I mention I'll be on the casting desk for this event? If you're subscribed to me, I better see you there. If you're looking to sign up, you can follow the link in the description down below to join up in the Element Discord. Signups will close 3 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time on the day of this upload, so be sure to get in there quickly. Now we'll get into the nitty-gritty of some strategies I expect to see for the event. Obviously, holding 2 points is going to be paramount for claiming victory in Dominion, as it not only controls how many passive points you gain every 10 seconds, but it also factors into how your exiles are counted as well. If you hold 2 of the 3 capture points, your exiles will count for 2 points instead of the normal 1, and if you hold 3 capture points, this value is increased to 3. It's obvious what the focus should be at this point. This will make the early game of Dominion extremely important for snowballing. An immediate push to take control of a second neutral point should be expected to establish the pace of the game and seal out exiles from there. This will allow the winning team of that engagement to have both the time and resources to increase the power of their talents from scrolls and upgrade their gear via recalling to the merchant. It's a true test of early game power and strategy to gain that early advantage. There are 2 main ways I see this happening viably: a 5-person death ball and a 1-3-1 flanking setup. The 5-person death ball would be exactly how it sounds. Every member of a team would rush towards the neutral objective in an all-in fashion to take the neutral objective in a commanding way. The goal would be to damage check the opponent in a favorable way and overwhelm them with sheer strength. The second option of 1-3-1 is a more nuanced approach. This formation would consist of 3 frontliners approaching the neutral zone with 2 long-range specialists on opposite sides of the capture point. The objective would be to allow the long-range breakers to deal enough damage from a safe distance in a supplemental way to overwhelm a death ball formation. Obviously, individual skill is much more important in a 1-3-1 formation, but it might be more worth it to avoid a failed all-in and have to sit out that 15 seconds it takes to respawn after being exiled. It depends a lot on each individual team comp, which I will delve into a bit now. For classes, keep in mind that the duplicate lock system will be in effect, so no more than 2 players running the same class. I predict that Stone Shapers and Conduits are going to have an amazing time in Dominion. Stone Shapers have an easy time with area control, and with most capture points looking to be a flat-ish area, they might just be the dominant force in most team fights. Combine that with boulders and movement mix-ups, and you have a lot of AoE that will make any attempt to step in the ring an instant exile. Conduits are also going to have a fun time in Dominion, mostly due to their sorcery and elemental interactions. With the ability to stun being unchecked by a certain talent in Chapter 2, Conduits will have the utility portion of their kit revitalized. While the decreased overall cast speed will hurt in the damage department, their unique form of area denial should make for some decent team synergy. Both of these classes should have a decent time in the early game for their initial neutral point team fight. Stone Shaper should provide a lot of early damage, while Conduit will provide excellent interruption against the enemy team. The long-range capability should not be understated either. This, barring any significant class changes, will probably be the safest option for classes in Dominion. For offhand gauntlets, I expect to see a lot of Frost, Stone, Fire, and Toxic. Frost is an obvious choice for large amounts of long-range damage and will be crucial to opening up fights from a distance. Its sorcery also serves as an area denial tool and defensive CC for some engagements on the capture point. Stone will be handy for reliable damage near capture points when players will have to stay relatively close by to contest objectives, and boulders will help in that regard as well. Fire is good for some decent offhand damage and area denial with the Firewall sorcery, and Toxic is great for similar reasons, although it does possess that great synergy with Fire for some explosive Dragonfire action. That's not to say that Wind and Lightning won't be present as offhands altogether. You can still land some CC from both gauntlets, but to a lesser level of usefulness than what the other gauntlets bring. For runes, I'll still be looking for a lot of presence from Dash and Spring Step. They do possess the lowest rune cooldowns in the game and some decent movement, making for some great outplay potential. Let's keep an eye for Spring Step nerfs though. This might be taken with a grain of salt. I'll also be looking forward to seeing some teleport to reposition across capture points quickly, especially for Conduit and Frostborn players. And last, while I don't think it'll be as effective, invisibility may make a few appearances for some backcap potential. This obviously is not going to happen as often as I would like it to, but it's a fun concept we might see play out nonetheless. Lastly, for talents, while there are 21 in total this time around, I think I've narrowed down the playing field quite a bit for competitive play. First of all, Intelligent is an amazing one-cost mind talent, giving decreased rune cooldown to an extent that cannot be ignored. It will likely be the most played talent in Dominion. I also expect a lot of presence from Vigor and Fellowship for their sustain. Vigor is just an amazing way to guarantee more survivability, and with the way blessings work in Dominion, having 25 extra health early on is really going to help push an early advantage for capping the neutral point. In terms of effective health, Fellowship is another great way to guarantee value for the rest of your teammates if you are grouped well. When paired with Vampiric, both Vigor and Fellowship have real potential for a dominant early game. This setup could also be paired with Thirsty in place of Vampiric for more value across the different stages of the game. I also expect Wellspring and Inspired to both have big influences in the meta as well, due to the very easy damage both talents provide. Inspired paired with Intelligent is definitely going to be a force to be reckoned with. And now for the niche pick, you might see a designated player bring Foresight to the table. This will allow the team to coordinate around enemy rotations for backcaps or deathballs trying to force capture neutral objectives, so it could be a useful tool in the meta. Overall, I think we're in for a wild ride full of experimentation for the new Dominion mode, and I can't wait to see what people come up with. That is going to do it for the video. I hope you guys enjoyed, maybe even learned something today. I really hope you guys do join in for the special event on April 7th and watch the competition while I cast it for you guys with my partner in crime. It's going to be a great show, and I don't want you to miss it, and I'll have more details on it later once everything gets finalized. But anyway, please don't forget to like the video and subscribe for more Spellbreak content, and comment down below what you're most excited about for the new Dominion mode and the tournament coming up. But that's going to do it for me. I've been OSK. Y'all have a great day, and I'll see you all out there.